Now, there was a time when I'd love to make fun of a hypothetical person using a $120 device to capture Switch Fortnite gameplay off of an iPad Pro. But you know what? He seems happy. Inside AT&T Stadium, where the Dallas Cowboys play football, there is a hologram of Jerry Jones that will answer any question asked to him by a Cowboys fan. That hologram consists of countless possible responses generated by AI technology that's designed to deliver an experience similar to a real-life conversation with Jerry Jones. Though honestly, in the promotional video, it's clearly pre-recorded stories. And if you're not familiar, he is just an owner of a football team. He's not like an important guy. They introduced that thing in September of last year, and clearly I'm still thinking about it. Now the problem is, Delayed Input is first and foremost a video series about video games. And that's not going to change. So my goal for tonight is to find a nice way to segue through 4 major gaming headlines to work up to the point where I have earned my Jerry Jones hologram reference. Story 1, F1 24 revealed. You heard that right. EA's F1 24 was officially revealed this week. And yeah, every other trailer for this series I'm going to stop watching after 3 seconds. But this one had me in 3 seconds.
Who will it be?
That's Brain Stew by Green Day. You've never heard of Green Day? How cool is that? Green Day is the most popular American punk band in the world. And that track, Brain Stew, was released in 1995, which means picking that for this trailer was not because it's a particularly popular song right now. It's because I think, just saying on my own, here we go, is cool in the context of a racing game. Now, the definitive version of Brain Stew is the one that was on the Godzilla 1998 soundtrack, in which Godzilla just kind of screams in appropriate moments.
On my own, here we go.
And the usage of the track is similar in this trailer.
On my own, here we go.
If you look at the YouTube comments for the F1 24 reveal trailer, they're not positive, but everyone agrees. Great choice in music. Sometimes song selection can carry a trailer. Story 2, Hades 2 technical test. Supergiant Games did some unconventional, cool things this week. Now, Hades 2 was first revealed at the Game Awards in 2022. Big trailer, big moment. Since then, relatively nothing. Then, this week, announcement that there will be a technical test for Hades 2. And then, as this technical test starts, they host a 3-hour stream with directors Amir Rao and Greg Kasavin, just showing you what it's like to play this game. No trailer necessary. Here it is, as it is. And what I think is neat about this whole thing is how non-promotional it seems. Sometimes I can be straight up trailer brained. And that's not the only way to make people aware of your video game, it turns out. And the way these directors say they're looking forward to the upcoming feedback from early access, I actually believe them. So early access is, I think, typically a way for a studio to start making money while they develop a game. If we're ever to put this game out, we have to start getting some revenue in. And in the case of Hades 2, I don't think it's a money thing so much as they truly enjoy the feedback. They truly are trying to make the best possible video game. People will say, no, that's not balanced. People will say, ooh, this is overpowered. And then they can worry about the trailers. Story 3, Sticky Business coming to Switch. You know who freaking loves highlighting indie games? Nintendo, who this week hosted another Indie World Showcase, which was generally, if I may, a nice thing to watch. And when I'm watching this thing, I'm thinking, oh, this is new, but you learn later it was just new to you. And this used to be an Apple Arcade exclusive. This one's already big on Steam. And actually, it is this game I want to talk about. It's interesting because of how uninteresting its premise is. The game is you making sticker sheets and then selling them and then interacting with your fictional clients.
From a music teacher striving to motivate her students to a dad who wants to cheer up his grieving child, each customer has a heartfelt story to share.
Designing stickers for a presumed widowed father who is trying to cheer up his grieving daughter with some stickers is a nightmare to me. I don't want to write those emails. I don't want to read those emails. However, I'm so happy this game has found its audience, and they seem to love it. I'm happy for this. In contrast to the III initiative from last week, where we learned that the top independent creators in video games are mostly just focused on small little characters with swords, here we have a game that simply would not make sense with a larger budget. It is indie by nature and necessity. But then I also perked up when they immediately switched into the sales pitch for the DLC. They're selling additional sticker elements and sticker missions for their sticker game. Now, what price would you put on that? When it's an indie endeavor, when it's just you and your small team, you have to personally determine what the worth of your work is. This is what I find fascinating. I think it's stressful for a lot of indie creators to figure out what should people pay you for this. They landed on $3.99 for the DLC, though there's a current 10% discount on that. And really, it's only an extra $2.34 if you get the bundle. You're looking at the same number as I am. Is that right? Does that feel good to you? And my general vibe from this is that it doesn't feel greedy at all when an indie studio is doing it. They're not Ubisoft. It's just 4 people on a couch with a regular looking dog. Story 4. Star Wars Outlaws has multiple Jabba missions. You know who is Ubisoft? The poor people who have to make Star Wars Outlaws. So there was a big Reddit-y, YouTube-y misunderstanding when Star Wars Outlaws announced its various different versions and its season pass. One of the perks of the season pass is that day one you'd have this exclusive mission that you're running for Jabba the Hutt. Generally, I would describe the outrage as, excuse me? I gotta pay extra to do one exclusive mission with the iconic Jabba the Hutt? Disney and Ubisoft, a corporate greed marriage made in hell. This week, Ubisoft had to clarify there is an exclusive Jabba the Hutt mission to the season pass, but it's a Jabba the Hutt mission, not the Jabba the Hutt mission. Everybody gets Jabba the Hutt missions. You get one extra with the season pass. If I could describe the general reaction to that clarification, it would be, we're still mad. It's still day one DLC. It's $109.99, dude. So for me personally, I think the sad part is not how much money it costs, but just the general disposability of modern day side quests. Ubisoft has to say this Jabba mission is not necessary, so don't be mad, but it is nice, so please buy it. And I don't really want to get into a whole thing about it because, yeah, I realize that side quests are superfluous by nature, extra by design. They're called side quests. If you couldn't skip them, they would be main quests. But what if you just played a game that had good side quests? You know, like what if you just played a game where on every side quest there's at least one party member who is personally invested in seeing it through. And so you're rewarded not just with experience points and some weapon to put in your inventory, but also like the rewarding feeling of helping a friend. No, I'm not, like, I realize not every game's going to be like that. It's Star Wars Outlaws. It's probably just going to be a lot of, fluff. And it's probably not going to be worth $130 at launch. I don't want to make that value assessment for you. I'm just looking at it raw numbers wise. It's hard to see it get up there. Now let me ask you this. What do you think it costs to go see Hologram Jerry Jones? Well, it's part of a tour and it costs $40. Now that actually seems pretty inexpensive to me, relatively. It's less than I thought it would be. But at the same time, I don't want it. Look, I'm obviously going to be thinking about that hologram for the rest of my life, but what I'm telling you, honestly, is I don't want to be in that room with the hologram and Cowboys fans. I just don't want to be there. ever. So realistically, they could charge $40,000 for it, and I wouldn't be mad about it. So in the same way, Star Wars Outlaws, go nuts. Bless your heart. Whatever you think you are deserving of, try it. And in the same way, Sticky Business, go nuts. I hope that you are well received on the Switch. That seems like a nice platform for you. F124? I mean, good song choice. I don't really know why you're in this episode at all. And that's Delayed Input for this week. Thanks for watching. There was a secret fifth headline originally in this week's script from Kotaku. Pokemon Go's new character creator is out and everyone hates it. Kind of a problem I was running into is that it didn't make sense. It wasn't worth making fun of a thing that already everyone is making fun of. If everyone hates a thing, they don't need another one making a video about why it's bad. But it got me on this whole train track. So last week on Twitch, I was looking at every Toy Biz X-Men action figure from the 90s. Now, if you bought a Cyclops action figure in 1991, he looked like this. And not that long after, if you bought a Cyclops action figure in 1993, he looked like this. It's like there's no contest there, really. Jacked up, taller, open hair Cyclops is simply the one you want. And here's Cyclops from 1995. We can all agree this was a misstep. And then, of course, with the movie in 2000, Cyclops had to become slightly more humanly proportioned. And what's funny about that movie line is that Jean Grey has a no bra and bra version, where they just kind of painted over part of the cleavage. And then Storm has no bra, and then ultimately closed jacket. And then Mystique, unfortunately, because she's the naked one, had to be permanently stuck in a sexy pose. And then the best way the toy makers thought to convey Mystique's mutant power to shapeshift was to give her a rubber Wolverine suit to slip into. And then obviously, because she is stuck in her sexy pose, her imitation of Wolverine is also stuck in a sexy pose. And then chugging down this train track, I also thought about my first Luke Skywalker. My first Luke Skywalker didn't look like this. He looked like this. Robe open, bearing huge pecs. He looked like Luke Skywalker from the movie poster, you know? And I remember even as a kid, just receiving that Luke Skywalker as a gift, thinking, they kind of went overboard with this one. It's a bit much. But still, years later, when I got my first ever video camera for Christmas, and I was making my first ever video with my little cousins, guess who was the star? Yeah, buff Luke Skywalker. I mean, look at him. He's just got star appeal. And if you're sitting there at home thinking, I don't know, maybe that Luke Skywalker is a little too sexy for a movie for kids, know that it was appropriately rated.
Rated CS. Completely silly.